Let us continue with our cloud computing series, and today we will start a new topic that is a part of Unit 5, that is audit and compliance. And the subtopic we consider today is internal policy compliance. Basically, audit and compliance are two sides of a coin. They are different processes. Audit focuses on monitoring the processes, policies and procedures and tries to find the deficiencies in them. It tries to see whether the organization is following the processes properly and trying to find any lacunae in those processes. It does not focus from the legal point of view. Whereas the compliance part focuses on the regulatory compliance. It checks whether the laws and regulations are followed appropriately by the organization. So it is basically focusing on the law perspective. Let us see more about this in the forthcoming session. So this is basically the outline for today's session. We will study about the introduction related to audit and compliance. We will study about the internal policy compliance. Basically there are two types of policies, external policies and internal policies. The organization has to focus on both types of audits, internal audit and external audit. Then we will see about the design services. These are basically important points while designing the service offering and supporting processes. Then let us see about the CSP life cycle approach. There are around 8 processes that have to be followed to maintain the life cycle, followed by certain assignments which are very important from exam point of view. Let us see about these. So basically audit and compliance refers to the internal and external processes as told to you, and these processes basically are followed by the organization and they need to implement basically to identify the requirements. These requirements must be abided, and whether these requirements are driven by business objectives, whether they have fulfilled the business objectives, whether the laws and regulations of the customer contracts are being maintained properly, whether the internal corporate policies and the standards or other factors are basically managed and identified and followed appropriately. So basically audit and compliance refers to, as I said, internal and external processes, and the organization also has to focus on putting into practices the policies, the procedures, the processes and the system to satisfy the requirements basically that are set for the client, or maybe the organization has set it for itself also. So it basically monitors or checks whether such policies, procedures and processes are consistently followed. These processes are basically followed by the employees. So it is basically needed to check whether the employee's work is appropriately as per the policies or no. These functions basically take on increased importance in specifically cloud environment because the requirements are very dynamic in nature, especially for the SPI model, that is software as a service, platform as a service and infrastructure as a service. So in this environment the requirements are going to be very dynamic. That is why these functions have an increased importance in cloud environment. So cloud service providers basically a challenge to establish, monitor and demonstrate ongoing compliance with a set of controls that basically meets their customer business and regulatory requirements. So these basically are challenged to see that these requirements are met basically for the customer's objective, and of course related to business, and also the regulatory requirements are met. Regulatory, as I said, is basically related to law. Now a practical approach to audit and compliance in the cloud basically includes various factors. Some of them are a coordinated combined combination of an internal policy compliance. It basically has the regulatory compliance and also external audit. So this is basically a combination in which the practical approach for the cloud computing needs to be followed. Now CSP needs to establish business processes, policies and procedures, that is basically for managing the IT systems that are appropriate for the nature of the service offering, and these can be operationalized in the culture of the organization. They can be put into the practice of the culture of the organization and satisfy relevant external requirements. So there are certain external requirements also that need to be satisfied. So this is basically how the internal policy can be complied with. Now there are certain important points while designing the service offerings and supporting processes. So basically the CSP needs to address the requirements of their current and planned customer base. So there are going to be various types of customers currently who are associated with the cloud, and also future customers who are going to be joining your cloud basically in the later session. So you have two types of customers, right? Currently and who will be joining you, who are your future customers. Then establish a strong control foundation that will substantially meet the customer requirements. Basically, this is set for the customers. So you have to see that the customer requirements are being maintained properly and they have to be fit into their business objectives. Also set a standard that is high enough to address those requirements. So customers have those requirements, specific requirements. So you have to set your standard in such a manner, the cloud service provider has to set the standard in such a manner that they are able to address these requirements and define the standard processes to drive the efficiency. You have to see that the standard processes are basically very efficient enough to run the entire business for both the CSP as well as the customer. So this is basically the CSP life cycle approach, and it basically has 8 processes. Right from it starts from defining the strategy. You have to define the requirements, you have to define the architecture, defining the policies, defining the processes and procedures, defining the ongoing specifications and ongoing operations need to be managed, the ongoing monitoring needs to be managed, and also continuous improvement processes. We'll see about these approaches in the forthcoming slides. So this is basically about defining strategy. One needs to define a clearly defined objective basically, and its business strategy and related risk management philosophy has to be managed. So you have to define the business strategy and the related risk management philosophy. This has to be very clear and obvious. And it is also important to basically look after the setting the requirements appropriately. Basically it should not be set too low or should not be set too very high. If you set it too low, it will be difficult basically to meet the needs of the new customers, and if you set it very high, it will make it difficult for the customers to implement and difficult to the CSP to maintain a cost effective manner. So it should not be set very high or it should not be very set low. Also you need to define a clear strategy that will enable the CSP to meet the baseline requirements of its customer in a very short term. So the baseline requirements have to be set as per the customer basically sets the baseline requirements, and a strategy has to be designed by the CSP to see that these baseline requirements are met for the customer. Now let us see about defining requirements. Requirements are basically of the customer. The CSP has to determine what is the minimum set of requirements for the clients he has, so that he can serve them appropriately, and the incremental industry specific requirements. Of course, while designing the requirements, also you have to see what are the industry requirements also. So both need to be clubbed, the customer requirements as well as the industry requirements. Like for example, you have CSP will need to determine whether it supports all of those requirements as a part of base product. Base product requirements are considered, and whether the CSP is able to meet those requirements or support those requirements, and also whether it offers incremental product offerings. At times there are going to be changes which will come up with the incremental product offerings, and this is with additional capabilities. So it could be given at a premium cost, maybe now or maybe in the future releases. So it needs to be considered appropriately. Then let us see about defining architecture. So this is as a part of the design. Like for example, CSP will need to determine which controls are implemented as a part of the service by default. There are various controls. He has to focus on which controls are basically useful for determining the services by default, and which controls are defined and managed by the customer. Some of the services that can be managed, or some of the designs that can be managed by the customer is configuration settings, selected platforms or workflows. So these basically can be controlled, defined and managed by the customer. So let us see about defining policies. The CSP needs to translate its requirement into the various policies. So requirements are converted to policies. So in defining policies, the CSP should draw upon the applicable industry standards. So policies have to be as per the industry standards. So you need to see, the CSP needs to see whether it is as per the industry standards or no, or else he has to make the changes accordingly. The CSP will also need to take a critical look at its staffing model and ensure alignment with the policy requirement. So staffing model has to be ensured appropriately. It is basically given a critical look and also ensure that it is aligned with the policy requirements. Now defining processes and procedures, this basically the CSP needs to translate its policy requirements into defined repeatable processes and procedures. So again, like policies are used, it also needs to be, the processes and processes also need to be translated as per the policy requirements, and they need to be defined, they need to be having a repeatable processes and procedures, and again using applicable industry standards and leading practices guidance. The controls should be automated to the greatest extent possibly for scalability and to facilitate monitoring. So the controls, as I said, they need to be automated. This automated to see that there is appropriate scalability maintained, and also they need to facilitate monitoring. Appropriate monitoring helps them improve the processes. Now ongoing operations, basically the CSP needs to implement and execute its defined processes, again ensuring its staffing model support its business requirement. Trying to see whether the staffing model supports the business requirement. So this needs to be implemented and executed by certain defined processes by the CSP. Now ongoing monitoring is one of the important tasks which will help you improve on the processes that are being followed. So the CSP has to monitor in a very effective manner, and it has to focus on its control activities on an ongoing basis with the instances of non-compliance reported and acted upon. During monitoring, a lot of non-compliance kind of might be brought focus to. So this has to be seen that they stick to the compliance report through the feedback loop which is given, and they also have to act upon it. So compliance with the relevant internal and external requirements should be realized as a result of robust monitoring program. So the program has to be very robust, monitoring basically has to be very robust, so that both the internal and external requirements are maintained of the company, also of the CSP and also of the client. Now continuous improvement is a thing which is required every day. Once you know what are the lacunae in your system, you can focus on to improving that. So improvement factor has to be very continuous. So as issues and improvement opportunities are defined, they are identified, the CSP should ensure that there is a feedback loop through which they can continuously improve the lacunae which are found, and this feedback loop will basically guarantee that the processes and controls are continuously improved as organization matures and customer requirements evolve. Customer requirements keep changing, so the cycle, the feedback loop will change, and of course it will grow bigger as the customer requirements will increase. So it should be as per the customer requirements also. So as the customer requirements are specified, so again there is a slight requirement for change in the processes that are followed by the CSP. So these are the assignments for today. This was just brief introduction on internal policy requirements and compliance, audit and compliance introduction. So these are just 7 marks questions. Just have a look at it, and if you have any query, you can contact me at the specified email ID. We are done for today. Thank you.